Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Share and Read. As you can tell from the title of this video, I will be doing my September/October TBR. This is very late, but better late than never, right? So anyways, let's just get right into it. So this time around, I actually have everything written down here. I started bullet journal recently, so I'm really excited to actually be on this trend. I might actually do some sort of like flip through at the end of the month, maybe a plan with me for journaling. I haven't really decided yet, but I'm actually really pleased with how it has turned out so far. So I will focus more on that in a future video. But anyways, for September and October, I have a ton of books I want to get through. So hopefully it won't be too ambitious, but I have 2 months, and as of right now, I've already finished one of them, so doing really great so far, guys. But hopefully I will be able to finish most of them sometime later this month and October, really. So the first book that I'll be reading, which I definitely need to finish by end of September, is actually for a book club pick, and that is Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I'm actually leading the discussion end of this month, so I do need to find this book somehow and read it before the discussion. So that's my first book. I know that this is something to do with another sci-fi novel. It's set in deep space. It's about a team of individuals, and they come together, and I believe one of them, who is Aurora, I think that's her name, she has been asleep for, I want to say 1,000 years or something like that. I don't really know too much about it, but I've heard pretty good things about it so far, so hopefully it's good. I don't know, I guess I'll find it for myself. Then the next few books that I want to pick up are actually for this readathon that I'm participating in. It's called the Book of the Month readathon, and it's very simple. You're just supposed to read a bunch of Book of the Month picks, because I have been a Book of the Month member, subscriber for, I want to say 2017, 2018, and I have a lot of backlisted books that I have been collecting but just haven't had the chance to read yet. So this readathon is supposed to just help me catch up a little bit, somewhat. But this whole readathon is supposed to expand throughout the entire month of September, but personally for me, I might end up extending it to end of October, just because I'm only on my first one and I have to find my other ones right now. I have them all listed out in terms of books I want to read, but I just need to find them, and right now I'm still unpacking. So because of that, I'm giving myself an extension of time. So I have 5 books total that I really want to get to by the end of October. The first book that I want to read for Book of the Month readathon is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I actually started this one, and I got this one, it says over here February 2018, so it's been a very long time, but I am actually almost done with this book. I was like 2/3 done with this book, and I'm liking it so much. It has a dual timeline. One is set in the 1960s, I want to say, or 1950s. Yeah, 1950s, set in Vermont, and the other timeline is set more towards modern day. It's 2014, so kind of modern day, and it's also set in Vermont, and it kind of revolves around this boarding school for girls called Idlewild Hall, and there has been some sort of disappearances and murders at this school. There was one in 1950, and there was one about 20 years ago from 2014, so 1990s or something like that. So there has been 2 murders that they know of, and there's some sort of creepy factor to this whole school, and it's really good. Actually, it's really intense. It's so much creepier than I imagined. I just thought this book was more of a mystery, but this one definitely has some sort of ghostly aspects to it as well, and it is super creepy. I can't read too much of it at one time because I get creeped out, so I've been trying to read it slowly and pace myself. So that's actually one of the main reasons why I'm still on this book, even though I started this book almost a week ago, but that's fine. But I'm really liking it so far. It's actually much more interesting than I had imagined, and I am enjoying this a lot. It's perfect actually for this fall season right now, so really happy about this one. Then the second Book of the Month pick that I picked up for myself is How to Walk Away. This one, I believe this is a contemporary romance, and that's all I know about it, but hopefully I find it soon. I really want to get to it because I believe the author has written another book, and I want to say it looks very similar, so I want to say it's a series or somehow like related to each other. But regardless, I've heard really good things about this book, so I'm really eagerly anticipating and hoping that it will be as amazing as everyone else said it is. The third Book of the Month book is The Anomaly, and this one I believe it's an Indiana Jones kind of book. It's a mystery thriller. It has something to do with caves and deep cave diving, I want to say. Other than that, I don't know too much, but it's supposed to be Indiana Jones-esque, so I'm assuming it has something to do with like treasure hunting or just a mystery thriller or something like that, some sort of suspense novel. But I am really excited for it. Also, again, I think this is perfect for this time period. The fourth Book of the Month book that I want to read is Ghosted, and I believe this one is also a contemporary romance novel, and I believe it's just also about if you're being ghosted. I want to say it's about someone who ghosted someone, and the aftermath of that. These are all really vague summaries. I am so sorry because I also don't have the books with hand me and I don't remember them off the top of my head. Then the fifth book, the final book that I want to read for book of the month, is Silence of the Girls. This one I believe is actually a mythology inspired book. I want to say it's about Helen of Troy, but the aftermath of it. I'm hoping I'm not way off base here, but I just know that it's something to do with mythology, and it's about the girls and the women during that time period and the aftermath of the war and what happened to them at Troy. So it's something to do with feminism. I heard it's really intense and very intriguing, so I have pretty high hopes for it as well. So those are all the books that I plan to read for book of the month readathon. Moving on to the other books I want to read. So for those who don't remember, I did a video way back when, beginning of the year, where I talked about what kind of books I want to pick up every 2 months. One of them is a series, so I want to finish the entire series. I have a lot backed up right now. Another one is a 500+ page book, and the third expectation for myself is to read 3 Edelweiss/NetGalley books because I have a lot backed up there as well and I just want to get through them. So this time around, my series pick is actually going to be for this series. It is the Walk on Earth a Stranger series. I want to say it's by Ray Carson. I've read her other books. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but I know they're doing some sort of reprint which looks so beautiful. I will put an image here. But after reading that series, I wanted to read more of her books, so I picked up the series so long ago at this point. I want to say sometime beginning of last year, and I still have not picked them up yet, so I really want to get through them. Originally I was going to try to pick up his Fair Assassin series because I actually haven't read it yet, and I put it on my TBR, I want to say like 3-4 months ago, and I don't know what happened, but I'm just not really in the mood right now for assassins and fantasy right now. I think I read Red Sister recently and I kind of fulfilled that craving for myself, so I wanted to just pick something else, so I decided to pick up this series instead, and hopefully it's be good. All I know about this series is that it's set during the gold rush in America, and that's kind of all I know about this. I wouldn't say there's some sort of fantasy element as well. Yes, there's definitely some sort of fantasy element to it because I believe the main girl, Lee, she can sense gold in the world around her, so there's definitely some sort of magical aspect to it, and I am really excited for it. I cannot wait to see what else this author has in store for me, so really excited for these books. Then in terms of my 500+ page book, this has also been in my TBR for a really long time now, and so anyways, I am going to pick up Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. I don't know why I just haven't read it yet. I think it's just because it's kind of daunting. It's a very big book. It is almost 600 pages long, and I don't know, I just haven't been in the mood for it. I don't know why, because I loved the first one. It was really good, and I'm really excited to find out more about what happens next, to all the characters, etc. And yeah, all I know is that I don't know why I haven't picked up yet, but I haven't. So here I am gonna pick this one up sometime in the next 2 months, and hopefully I actually get to read it this time around. So for those who don't know, this series follows 2 women. One is Riel, who 1,000 years ago, she went through some sort of trial to basically prove to everyone that she is actually the Sun Queen, which is the queen that was prophesied to save the world, as opposed to the Blood Queen, which is the queen that was prophesied to destroy the world. And the reason why she was put on that trial was because she had the ability to actually manipulate and control all sorts of magical elements, and that's essentially impossible for everyone else. So she went on that trial to prove to everyone that she's actually the Sun Queen. And then 1,000 years later, we follow another girl. Her name is Ileana, and she basically works for the Empire right now. And at this point in time, she does not believe anything about the whole Sun Queen, Blood Queen legend. She believes that this whole thing is a myth and it's not true at all. But as the book continues, you find out that maybe it's actually not a legend and it's actually true, and just so much stuff happens from there, and it was so good. It left on such a big cliffhanger. There's also angels involved in here, and it was really good. So I really need to read this. I don't even know why. I just, yeah, actually now that I'm talking about this, I really want to read this, so I might try to pick this up next actually. So the next few books that I want to pick out are actually from my Edelweiss and NetGalley books. So of course I have my little TBR here, little TBR cup here. I actually picked out a book already because I needed a book earlier this month, and I picked up When the Stars Lead to You by Noni Davis. It's right here. This one is a contemporary romance. I believe it is coming out or just came out, something like that, and so far I'm like okay with it. There's very much a instant love kind of relationship right now, and it's a very toxic relationship too, which I'm not really pleased about. I don't think the girl really knows what she's doing, but the reason why I think I'm still continuing with it is because I'm intrigued enough to actually see what ultimately happens with this relationship, because it seems like a train wreck, to be honest, especially on the girl's end. And the one redeeming factor I would say is that, I mean, I can't really say personally because I am not in that community, but there is a depression representation here. So I can't say if it's good representation or not, but I feel like it's intriguing enough for me to continue, because I'm also really curious on the guy's end as to what will happen with him, because he's the one who has depression right now, and I'm kind of curious to find out what will ultimately happen between the two of them, even though I'm really much not liking this instant love relationship at all, and the fact that this girl is just, I don't even know. So yeah, that's about that book, but I'm almost done. I want to say I'm like 90 something% done, so almost on that one. So I'm gonna pick up 2 more books from here, and hopefully we'll see. So the first book that I picked up is Long Call by Anne Cleves. So I had to actually go on Goodreads to see what this book is about. So this one just came out on September 3rd. So it seems that it's actually some sort of mystery thriller novel. Also, by the way, all of these books are from NetGalley and Edelweiss, and I try to pick up books that are recent, so ones that just came out or are coming out soon. So I only have about 30 or 40 books in here, because I wanted to actually take the time to read more current books as opposed to before, where I put in all the books I had, and I had a lot of backlisted books from 2015. So I'm trying to be more selective in this time around, so I only have about 30-40 books here, so hopefully I'll get to them a little faster, hopefully. But yeah, so this book that I picked up right now is called Long Call, and it's some sort of like mystery thriller, something to do with a murder, and it follows a detective, and that's kind of all I know. It's the first one in the series, and it just came out on September 3rd. That's actually really good, because I was just thinking that I needed more mystery thriller novels, because it's fall, guys, and I think that's perfect for this time period, so I didn't really have that many this time around, but it's okay. So the third and final pick that I'll get from here is Bone Charmer by Brianna Shields. Okay, this is perfect, because I literally had this on my TBR anyways, because it is right here. This has also been on my TBR for a very long time, and I was hoping to put this up later this month or sometime this month, because this one talks about bone reading, so I feel like it's also perfect for October, like Halloween time, so I think this would be perfect for this time period. So I'm actually really happy that I picked up this one, because I was just thinking about picking this up anyways. So this book follows a girl called Saskia, who when they turn 17, they have this special bone reading to determine what their future apprenticeship lies, and she does not want to become a bone charmer like her mother. But of course her mother ends up doing the bone reading, the special bone reading for her, and of course she ends up as a bone reading as her apprenticeship, so she's very unhappy about that. And somehow this argument with her mother ends up fracturing her future, so now she has 2 futures, 2 paths in front of her. One where she is forced to confront her magic, and the other one where she tries to run away from it. So I haven't heard too much about this book, but it does sound really intriguing. I feel like I said already, be perfect for October, Halloween-esque fall vibes, so really happy about this one. So those are the 3 books that I want to get through from my Edelweiss / NetGalley books. If I actually get through all of them, I will continue picking up more of these, but based on previous experiences, that has yet to happen once, so I kind of doubt that will happen, to be honest. So the next book that I want to pick up has also been in my TBR for a few months now, and that is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. Everyone has been loving this book so much, and I've only heard really positive reviews, so I'm actually really excited for it. All I know is that it follows 3 characters. One is a chieftain, a future chieftain of the Crow cast. One is a fugitive prince, and the other one is a very cunning bodyguard. And I want to say he's like a body double or something like that. So I'm pretty excited about this book, and it looks really good. I mean, honestly, everyone who has read it that I know of has loved it and raved about it, so I just don't know why I haven't read it yet, but I really hope, hopefully this time around, to actually read this one. So the next book on my list actually is a book that I have somewhere, I just haven't unpacked my box yet, and that is Gideon the Ninth. This one, all I know is about necromancers. I want to say it's set in space, and I want to say there is some LGBT representation in here as well. And I've heard so many good things. Well, I've heard really positive things, and I've heard some mixed reviews, so I don't know. But I am planning on doing a dedicated reading vlog for it, just because I feel like this is a book that's very highly anticipated, and I feel like it'll be kind of good to do one separately, just so I can document my own experiences about reading this one. So be on the lookout for that. So hopefully I find it soon. I feel like I know which box it is in, but I don't really know where it is right now. So I will find it sometime this month, and I will try to read it as soon as possible. The next book that I'm actually currently reading as well is The Memory Thief by Lauren Mancy. This one I'm actually buddy reading with one of my bookstagram friends, and I just finished chapter 5. I'm currently on page 73, and I don't know, it's okay so far. So this book follows a girl, her name is Etta, and She lives in a world where memories are currency. So there are people who have the ability to call minders who can actually reach into your mind and remove a memory. And you can use this memory of yours to pay for things as well. So there's a lot of exchanges between good memories and bad memories. And there are also these hollows who can actually just store your memories because they don't really have their own memories left anymore. So they just take on other people's memories. It's kind of a weird situation where I guess a lot of people don't actually have their own memories anymore because they're just literally exchanging memories with each other for currency and for money. So it's kind of a weird situation right now, but it follows a girl. Her name is Julieta, and her mother has been in the asylum for some time now due to some sort of reason, and something happens and her mother actually gets auctioned off. So the auction essentially is where the commander or like the madam or something like that, she actually goes and kills you, but before she actually kills you and executes you, she removes all of your memories and she auctions these memories to different bidders. So her mother is now actually being the one auctioned off, and she was told that her mother will have a place in this asylum for however long she needed to, but something happens and I guess that's not the case anymore. So she now has to go on some sort of quest or mission to save her mother, and it's kind of confusing to be honest, just because I'm not really understanding the whole memory thing as of yet, but it's intriguing enough for me to continue. But I'm also buddy reading this, so I feel like I would talk to her about it and hopefully we will figure things out together. And this is an arc and it comes out on October 1st, so I do want to finish this as soon as possible. The next book that I want to read has been on my TBR for a very long time now, and that is Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. This is another one that I just really need to get to be honest, because it's been so long, guys. So this is another fantasy book and it follows a princess. Her name is Princess Aurelia, and she is a prisoner to her crown in the air that nobody wants. She ends up fleeing her country due to an assassination attempt, and she decides to live anonymously in the countryside. There she ends up practicing her magic and perfecting it while also falling in love with a person who's forbidden to rule beside her. Something happens, of course, and now she's forced to choose between the weight of the crown or the freedom of her new life. So I've heard some really positive reviews, well, mixed reviews as well to be honest, but I'm excited for it regardless. So the next book that I have on my list that I actually already finished is The Bone Houses. This one was actually really good. I'm giving this 4 stars. It was fantastic. It was so good. Like the writing, the characters, it was perfection. And it wasn't that extra oomph to give it a 5 stars, but I thought it was a very, very well written read, and I love the characters and the plot. So I definitely highly recommend that book if you haven't read it already. Then the next few books that I want to read are some backlisted books, because as I'm unpacking, a lot of these books are backlisted and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So I need to read these. So I picked 4 that I thought I should probably get to as soon as possible. The first one is Unkindness of Ghost by Rivers Solomon. This book has been talked about relatively recently. This one came out like I want to say 2 years ago, because I got this as an ARC a really long time ago, and I don't know what happened, guys. I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. But I've heard a lot of reviews about this recently. I feel like it got some sort of revival period and a lot of people talking about it and raving about it. So I saw this on my shelf because it was like the first box I unopened, and I was like, wait, I should probably read this as soon as possible. And all I just know is that this is something to do with space, like a sci-fi novel. It's set in a space vessel. It follows a character called Aster. So she lives in this space vessel called Matilda, and Matilda has ferried the last of humanity to a mythical promised land for generations. And on its way though, the ship's leaders have imposed harsh moral restrictions and deep indignities on dark-skinned sharecroppers like Aster. And she learns that there is a way to improve her lot if she's willing to sow the seeds of civil war. So this book seems to have a lot of discussion on racial inequality, morals, and ethics, and I don't know, but I've heard some really great reviews recently, so I'm actually really hoping to pick this up as soon as possible, and hopefully it will be as good as everyone else seems to say it is. Then the next backlisted book that I want to pick up is Ascent of Rain by Anne Montgomery, and it follows 2 teenagers who are on the run and they find their fates intertwined. And apparently there are no adults that they can trust either. Other than that, I don't really know too much about this book. It's been a very long time since I've actually read a synopsis, but we'll see, guys. So we shall see about this one. So for these backlisted books, I don't think I mentioned, but rather than trying to just hoping I finish in the next 2 months and putting it off another 2 months and then giving it away if I don't actually read it, I think this time around I'm just going to, if I don't read it within these 2 months, then I'm just going to donate them, because they just been on my shelf for a really long time, guys, and I just don't see the point in extending 4 months to actually try to read it. So I'm going to impose a harsher restriction on myself, and if I don't finish it by end of October, then I'm going to donate these backlisted books, because they've been on my shelf for too long, guys. I need more space for more books, guys, so yeah. The next book that I am going to read that's also backlisted is Devils and Thieves by Jennifer Rush. I got this at BookCon 2017, so it's been a very long time. All I know is that this is an urban fantasy and has to do with magic and motorcycle gangs. That's literally all I know about this book, but hopefully it's good. I don't think I even looked to see if there's any good reviews or bad reviews of this book, so I really don't know what to say about it, but it looks like it can be good. I don't know, I guess I'll find for myself. The last and final book that I'm hoping to pick up by the end of October and read it is You're the One That I Want by Giovanna Fletcher. This one is a adult contemporary romance. It follows a woman who is at the altar right now, about to marry this guy. His name is Rob, and his best man is sitting right next to him, and his name is Ben. But the problem is that the main girl, her name is Maddie. She's not sure if perhaps Ben is actually the one for her instead of Rob. So some sort of like love triangle happening right now, and I'm really curious to find out what will happen, because she's literally at the altar already and she's about to get married, dude. Like, she should probably figure that out before she gets married, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but anyways, I'm excited for this one. I'm curious to see what will happen there, but I feel like I've also seen like really bad reviews about this one, so I don't know. I've had this book for a really long time as well, so I guess I'll find out and see for myself. So anyways, that's all to say for this video. Let me know down below which book have you read, which book are you most excited for me to read. Since I'm starting a whole reading vlog thing right now where I'm just doing dedicated books, let me know down below if there's any books on this pile, on this TBR list, that you want to see other than Gideon the Ninth, because I'm doing that one regardless. But let me know if there's any other books that you really want to see me do a reaction video to, a reading vlog video to, something like that, slash a book review, to be honest. So let me know all of that down below. But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!